Thank you all for being here. Thank God for bringing us together. Amen. And also, Mary, thank you for hosting. This is no small feat in today's day, right? We all know with Jack Phillips, right? Just right down the street, even after that Supreme Court decision, you had people there who were trying to stir up trouble. But what did Jack do? We had about 200 people, supporters out there, and he came out with a plate of cookies. Wow. Wow. That's awesome.
No kidding.
And Mary here, boldly, right here, because I could tell you there were some businesses and there were some places in the Lakewood area saying, no, with everything going on. And I said, if not now, when? And let me just tell you, right now, this is the time to stand up. This is truly the time, because our community here, our state, and our country has had enough, has really had enough of getting pushed around. What an amazing week we've seen for our country, right? Historical. Well, maybe we should wait for Robert De Niro, right? Give me a minute. No, I don't think so. No.
We don't need that language.
We don't need that language. We don't need that attitude. People have had enough of that rudeness, that disrespect. One of the things I've had, one of the veterans in Lakewood one time asked me, Tony, what are you about? I say I stand up for the flag, I know what bathroom to use, and I'm an American, not a hyphenated American. Yes, let's do it. Let's be crystal clear about who we are and what we believe. And we are here first because we serve God. And we are not ashamed to be who we are and what we believe. And that is something, one time I remember a young lady said, well, Tony, how do you know who to believe? How do you know who to trust? And you ask them, who do you serve? And if you're not clear about that, well, then stay away from that person. It's as simple as that. So I am so excited. You know, I don't know if you all know this, but I've been walking out here and been promoting this event, and they're already knocking doors out here, the other side of the aisle. And I got to talk to one of those, I don't know if this is something we should publicize, but I got to ask one of those people from the other side of the aisle, and they were saying things like, they were paid, and they said, well, who's targeted? You're targeted, Tim Nell was targeted, and Christina Alley. I go, oh, really? Really, is that so? And then they're saying, why so? Because we're divided out on the other side. You see, they're trying to out-extreme each other. They have nothing left except eating each other up. But this is not the time. This is the time for us to stand up. This is the time for us to be clear. Because they're not going to attack us. It's not enough for us to just be pro-life or pro-Second Amendment or even pro-liberty. But if we stand up for those values, they will fear us. Because they fear God. Let's not be real clear. That's what's making them nervous. And you can see it in how much support we've been getting at these events, how much support we've been getting statewide. Can you believe it? We've had people coming at some of our events from as far as Boulder and Colorado Springs. This is really something else that we're seeing here in this district. Hold your head up high. I know sometimes this is a time for some of us to feel like a little discouraged, to think like, oh, I don't know, am I the only one? Believe me, as I've been knocking on doors all across, I'm in Colorado Springs, a castle right there. So as I've been knocking the doors, I can tell you, it's not enough just to be against something. You have to be for something. And that's something that we need to give the voters. You know, I was thinking back on a couple stories I want to tell you. When I was younger, I often, some of you don't know this, but some of you do know this story. But my father was from Mexico, my mom from El Salvador. And it was my grandmother who raised me, who was about half my height. And she used to smoke cigars. Had a machete there. And so she used to have little famous quotes. My abuelita, she would say things like, if you've got enough energy to complain, you got enough energy to do. And the other quote she would say to me, you should kiss the ground every day you're in America. Right. Another great quote she would say is, I like that Ronald Reagan. She'd say it like Clint Eastwood. That look too. And that's the kind of look that I wouldn't say something like, oh, I'm bored, I don't know what to do. Oh, I tell you what to do, I'll put you to work right now. And that's where I get this reality from. I'm not just running for state senate. I'm running for a place called reality. And that is the reality, okay? And what do I mean by that? If I said that to my grandmother, I want to be in a reality show. I'll give you some reality. I'll put you to work. I see, this is the reality. These are values. These are principles that we have. These are timeless principles. And especially in the time of discouragement, this is what we're trying to do here. And so, I remember, though, one time when I was younger, we went to Disneyland, and it was a big deal for my family. We come from a working class background. We didn't have a whole lot of money. And I wanted the Mickey Mouse ears. She said, well, you got big ears already. What's wrong? And anyway, but I was so devastated because I thought it was so mean, because I really thought I needed those Mickey Mouse ears. And I finally went with my wife to the 50th anniversary. I wanted those golden ears. And guess where those ears are now?
Oh yeah.
They're in the garage, just sitting there, all expensive. You see, sometimes when you think you really need something, want something, it isn't what you need. And that's what we're seeing here today in Colorado, in our capital. I've often been telling people, I've worked around in social services with at-risk kids and also small business development. And it's called childish behavior for a reason. You never ask a little child, what color do I paint a house? Because then you'll get a clown house. And that's exactly what we have here in Colorado with our legislature. You're basing laws not based on reality anymore. You have laws like Andy Kerr promoted here when it comes to that bikes don't have to stop at the stop sign if you're a bicyclist. Give me a break. So what does that mean? Where are our priorities when it comes to our roads? Or even more important, do we feel safe? Do we feel safe now in Colorado, in Lakewood, in Littleton? And not just physically safe. Do you feel safe to believe what you believe openly? That's right. If that question is no, it's time for us to stand up and do something about it. You are not alone. I'll echo what you just said, Christina. We are not alone. We are not alone. In fact, we're the majority. Yes. Believe me, we are the majority. And it's not just one party. It's not just the other party. We as Americans are thirsting for liberty. We're thirsting to defend our liberty and our country and our values.